Hi, good morning. I'm talking to Pavani this morning from Vibrant Living Movement. Is that right?
That is right, yes.
Oh, wow, great. Do you want to tell me about what Vibrant Living Movement actually is?
Yeah, so the reason I picked this name, Vibrant Living Movement, is because my kind of ethos behind what I'm doing is to invite people back into having joy in their lives and kind of reconnecting with our bodies. And so through doing that, we can live by what's true to us. We can let go of the social conditioning that holds us stuck, holds us in repeating mind thoughts that hold us in not moving forward, and so forth. And so it's really about reconnecting to the vibrancy of life.
Uh-huh.
And the movement element is physical movement and moving of stagnant energy and such like. So
Okay,
it kind of encompasses many things
right.
for the same purpose, if you see what I
Okay.
mean.
Tell me how you got onto this road, because it seems a very strange journey that you've been on to actually get to where you are today.
Well, if I sort of go back, say, 15 years, no, if we go back sort of further, I've had kind of quite a long journey with physical disabilities, lots of illnesses, kind of low confidence. And when I first met Biodanza, which is one element of what I do,
Mhm.
I was a single parent, 3 teenagers, not much time for myself. I was born with dyspraxia, which means physical coordination was quite eluded me, shall we say. So through the Biodanza, I managed to reconnect with my body. My coordination, you really wouldn't know.
What
Um,
is Biodanza?
so it's a form of dance movement. So there's no steps to learn. It's not technically a therapy, but it has therapeutic um, aspects of it, and the results can be therapeutic. It's really about a safe space to reacquaint yourself with your body, how your body would like to move, and also how we interact with others. So there's so many elements to it. It's about relearning what works for you, relearning to move within a community space so that we have social interaction that's responsible to each other. We're not encroaching on anyone. We're relearning to have empathy for ourselves and for other people, and consequently for the community, and reacquainting ourselves with actually the joy of moving our bodies how we would like to. Because in this society, we're kind of taught, we have to go from A to B. We have to do what we're told to do. We're not supposed to take up too much space. We're not supposed to make up too much noise, and so forth. And so our levels of self-expression are fairly low.
Hmm.
So this is about kind of relearning it and then taking it out into the world. So it's not just in the session,
Hmm.
it's also ways of taking that out into the world, so that when we're out in the world, we function more from who we are rather than the box we've been put in.
I suppose as children, we have no inhibitions, do we? And as children, yeah.
I watch my grandson, who's currently 16 months, and he's totally present. He's receiving no judgment from his parents. He's not ever being told he's wrong. He just explores. Everything's in the moment, and it's like seeing the world through fresh eyes. And this is kind of what this is. It's about exploring,
Hmm.
exploring us, exploring our parameters, uh, coming out of our comfort zone, extending a bit, so that we can have a
There is a
wider,
certain amount of
richer life, really.
a certain amount of embarrassment, isn't it, with moving and Do you think?
We
Or
see that's our social conditioning. If you go to a club, it's like people have to have several drinks before they'll dance, before they'll show themselves. And this is kind of basically, you come from where you're at, there's no judgment, nobody's watching anybody else to see how they're doing, because it's literally about doing what works for you from where you are, and moving forward from there. It's literally translated, it means dance of life, and it's your life. So it's your dance of your life. So although I, as the facilitator, might demonstrate how a particular exercise is for me in this moment, and it might be different half an hour later, it's just an example. And then you do your version, you dance what works for you.
And what sort of music is it then? What sort of music do you do it to?
So all the music is specifically chosen to be integrative. So it's not music that will kind of, you know how I think it was was it Emoto, the water chap, who showed that if you played certain pieces of music, the water, the molecules were formed, a coherent pattern, and then if you played other music, it was all over the place. It's kind of like that for the cells in our body. So if we're playing, excuse me, if we're playing integrative music, then on a cellular level, we're getting that in our bodies. So and it works on the whole body system, the parasympathetic, the sympathetic. So there's elements of the dance which will kind of give us a rhythmic element, so that we have identity, and then there's a gentler, more melodic element which allows us to sort of be in freer movement, if you see what I mean, because that's all part of the rhythm of life.
And does it work better as a group?
So it was designed to be in a group because we also get feedback from the rest of the group, and we learn how to interact with other people, and it's all about feedback. So if we approach someone, we get feedback as to whether or not our approach is welcome, and then we take that information, but it's not a judgment, it's just so we don't necessarily obviously at the moment where we're all wearing masks and we're don't come close, but generally speaking, some people don't understand boundaries and permission and so forth, so it's relearning that kind of thing as well. So if I say no to an interaction now, I might say yes in 5 minutes, or if I say yes now, I might say no in 5 minutes. So it's about learning what works for me as well as what works for the other person. So it's not saying yes just because the other person asked, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
So that for me is a great metaphor for life anyway, because we are taught to acquiesce to other people's demands, and this is another way of learning. Actually, it's okay if someone says no, and it's okay if I say no, and it's okay if someone else says yes, and it's okay if I say yes, but it's getting congruent with what your yes is and what your no is.
Okay. And is this an old art form? Is this something that's...
So it was developed in the 60s and is still being developed now, but the original person who developed it was a psychologist from Chile. So, and he started observing what kind of effects certain types of music had on psychiatric patients. And he started to develop this system, and there's certain movements and exercises and dances that go with the music. So we are talking a body of thousands of pieces of music from all around the world, including such wonderful delights as Beatles songs and
Oh, really? So you actually
and Latin American and Queen, and
Fantastic.
it really does run the whole the whole
Oh,
the spectrum. But it's about invoking certain things in our bodies, and it kind of focuses on the positive, but it allows us to kind of, you know, shuck off the, almost de-slough the conditioning and so forth.
you know, sometimes of an evening and you'll be cooking your dinner and some song will come on that you love and you're
Hmm.
all alone, so you have a bit of a dance, a bit of a go around. Is that similar, or is that?
Absolutely, because, you know, when we're kind of sedentary, we can kind of get stuck in a certain way, but if we get up and move, then the energy moves, the whole energy moves, everything shifts. And that's how we start to actually shift some of the stuff that's stuck with us. And, you know, even if you don't get to a Biodanza class, I would recommend dancing to songs that, you know, that your body will respond to.
Hmm.
I would, you know, one of the things we say in Biodanza is dance as if nobody's looking, because really nobody is looking, because they're all on their own journey. But one of the things, you know, that I say now for me is dance like everyone's looking, because own it, just have fun with it.
People think you're a bit strange, aren't they, when you start flinging your arms and legs around?
Well, you know, when I first came to this, I have to say, I was socially phobic, and I really had so many judgments about the way that I couldn't move, I couldn't dance, because having this, you know, this fun journey with rhythm and really not dancing with any rhythm. It was my own rhythm. And, you know, my joints were quite stiff, my movements were quite stiff because of the dyspraxia, and also because of the judgments I had.
Yeah.
So as I've let go of the judgments, my body, it's not stiff, it's not uncoordinated. You know, I've let go of those judgments, and it's allowed me to find a new way of moving.
Yeah, because men are particularly bad at it, aren't they? A man, yes, there's a disco or a dance, isn't it? They don't want to get up and dance, do they? They'd rather sit and drink their pint than.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many men do actually come to a biodanza class. It's
Really.
fantastic. Yeah, it's really, really great to see so many men who are willing to, you know, really enjoy that movement, moving their bodies and interacting. It's really lovely. Yeah, I think as society, men aren't necessarily encouraged to properly dance without having a drink in them, or, you
Mm.
know, they can do break dancing because that's considered manly, or, you know, to actually just enjoy their bodies and just move. It's such a joy. It
Yeah.
really is. I would wholeheartedly recommend it. And actually, there's a high proportion of men who are biodanza teachers,
Right.
facilitators
So if
as
I
well.
was
Yeah,
to look for one of these classes, are there classes around? Because you're from Salisbury, aren't you?
I am. Yes, at the moment, classes are online in this country.
Right. But
Um,
because of the
unless we,
pandemic.
so sorry, say that again.
Because of the pandemic, they're all online.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, usually they're in person. Um, because physical contact is, you know, quite handy in a dance where you're relearning.
Yeah.
um, but we've got lovely ways actually of allowing you to connect online, even if you
Oh,
can't
really?
physically, you know, have contact with
I'll
other
have to
people.
join in on one and see what it's like.
Yeah. Well, what we say is, it won't ever be recorded because it's private. It's your dance. It's We invite you to keep the cameras on because it's participation rather than spectator, but you
Okay.
actually participate to your level, so no one's actually really watching you.
No.
We
Everyone's
do
involved in themselves, are they?
Well, we do have exercises where we invite you to dance in a pair for a couple of minutes, or, you know, maybe in a group of three, or the whole group together. And we do have ways of doing that on Zoom.
I was going to say, that must be really hard. How do you do that?
We do have inventive ways of doing that. Yeah, we've had to be quite creative, and that's part of Biodanza as well, being creative. It's about, you know, finding your creativity, and yeah, it's all about having fun, really.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It really does.
Yeah.
So does it lift you? Is it like
Yes, so the really and truly, like you said, with your, you know, dancing in the kitchen while you're doing something, it does elevate, it releases our feel good hormones. And when we've had that safe and playful and intimate kind of connection with other people, it elevates us anyway, because we are social creatures. And at the moment, you know, when we're being told to be socially distant, this kind of thing is so valuable that it gives us that sense of having like deeply connected with ourselves and with other people.
Yeah, because at the moment it's painful, isn't it? You know, I'm one of a large family, and we're always seeing each other. We're very close, and we've all pulled away. And I have this fear that when it all goes back, that we won't be as close, or things will be lost because of how it's been, and it's just trying to keep yourself mentally, you know, alive.
Yes. And that kind of exactly what you just said kind of led me to thinking that it would be a lovely idea to be offering something like this to groups of families or friends who can't get together, you know. So if you have a group and you would like to you know, catch up with each other on a slightly deeper level, because obviously it's very stilted when you're all on a group call. You know, when you're in person, you kind of get to interact with this person separately while the whole group's there. It's not always possible when you're on a big group chat, is it? It's not the same. You don't have breakaway conversations and such. So we can, you know, kind of do a shall we say, a more playful, gentler version that doesn't, you know, really take people too far out of their comfort zone, but find ways of, you know, two people connecting and then move to another two people.
I just think
and
that's
so
really
forth.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to giggle? Are you allowed to have a bit of a
Absolutely. So what we invite is to drop out of actual conversation so that you're present with your body. But if stuff comes up, express it. Just express it. Laughing, you know, sometimes people cry just from you know, a momentary relief, and we say, don't hold on to it. Just let it go. Don't worry. It's done. Move on. And you know, when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. Because
it's when we hold ourselves, you know, tight, that stuff sticks. And when we open ourselves up,
that's when I get the giggles. If something is too serious, and I might look at my sister and she's doing something, I just can't help myself.
I'll let you into a little secret, which is no secret to anyone who's been to any of my classes. I giggle a lot. When stuff moves through me, laughter is one of the best releases. Even when we're in a really like deep moment with someone, if that's how it moves, that's how it moves.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And literally it's all welcome.
Oh, how wonderful. Oh, I really love the idea of you doing it in groups and families and stuff. I love that idea, because sometimes if you're with a group of your family on Zoom, say one person might be more loud than the other, and you're not really mixing with the group. But to actually do an activity together, you know, sounds really good. So what other therapies do you do? Because I believe you do other.
Yes. So it's all in the sort of similar vein about moving the energy and allowing stuff to move. So one of the therapies that I offer, which is on a one-to-one basis, is something called access bars, which is it's bars of energy that go across and through the head. And basically the recipient would just lie down and I would gently touch these points on their head. And what it does, it's like an electrical interrupt to all the kind of thought patterns, you know, when we go round in a loop and get ourselves stressed. And we hold a lot of trauma when things happen. It's the value we place on what happens that causes things to stick. So, you know, if you witnessed something, 10 people could witness the same thing a different way, you know, and 5 people could be traumatized by it and 5 people just move on with their life. So it's what we attach to something that happens, you know, the emotion. What this does is it basically interrupts, dissolves, unravels all those thoughts that are stuck, and just allows more space. It's really relaxing, it's really gentle. And basically when it's gone, it's gone. Again, it's about, you know, this is really good for PTSD, you know, depression, insomnia, all sorts of things, you know, caused by just at the moment, massively, we're all being bombarded by all this message of doom and gloom, and, you know, and we're all, you know, I can speak for myself. Certainly in lockdown, I felt like a caged tiger, even though I live in a village and I could go out for a walk. It just felt very oppressive. And by just having my bars run regularly.
I don't understand. How do you? I don't understand how it actually works. What do you do?
So basically, yes. So there's a how can I explain it? So it's like bars of electrical impulse that run. We are electrical beings, because
Okay.
you know we the synapses between our nerves. It's run on electrical impulse between each synapse in the nerve. So when we have a thought, it sets off a trigger of like synapses, which causes creates a resulting, you know, sensation or something in our body. So it's basically being an interrupt to those synapses that unravels that chain of thought. So it allows all that stress around those thoughts to just stop, unravel. So basically it's about undoing all the conditioning. Again, it's working with the mind, where Biodanza works on the body, this works on the mind,
Right.
to unravel the traumatic thoughts and conditionings and such like that causes the trauma in the body.
Okay. So how? I might be being a bit dense here, actually. I don't know.
That's all right. I mean, I'm aware that this isn't, you know, your regular.
I come to you, I sit down. What do you actually do to me?
Okay, so basically you would be reclined, so you would be lying down or reclining, and I would just invite you to relax every cell in your body and just allow yourself to receive, just be open to receiving. And if there's anything, you know, that's particularly up for you, you can talk about it, or you can just relax. You can, most people, I have to say, most people just go to sleep because it's so relaxing. And I literally just very, very gently hold these points on your head.
Okay, I see.
And allow them to kind of do their thing. Sometimes
so are you like a conductor then, as you're?
It's kind of like, yes, it's kind of like that. So I'm not encroaching on you in any way. I'm not reading your mind or anything like that. Basically, when your stuff goes, it goes. It might go through me, it might just go from you. It doesn't, it really is, you know, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the session, there's a set of points which I can hold very gently, which basically allows everything that's gone to stay gone. You don't have to pick it up again at the end of the session. It's gone. So it's kind of like having a counselling session, but where you lie down, relax, go to sleep. You don't have to go through any of the...
So you don't have to recall any of the trauma?
No,
or anything
you really, really don't, you know.
Oh, wow.
And for some people, sometimes, you know, it can feel quite dynamic. They can feel stuff moving. And for other people, it's really relaxing. But then you might find, you know, a week, a month down the road, something happens and you realize you haven't reacted the same way to it. You know, I haven't got stressed about that. Oh, okay. You don't necessarily notice it until something comes up and you react differently or respond differently.
And do you have some people that react well to this treatment and other people, say if you've got a closed mind, I suppose if you've got a closed mind, you wouldn't go along.
That tends to be what happens if you're, you know, people with a who aren't open to this, just they won't, you won't come. You know, if this isn't for you, really it's about what works for you, and it's about empowering the person. This is my, you know, my whole ethos. I will never tell someone what to do. I will guide them to find what works for them. So
Right.
it's not about you know, it's not about having any answers for anyone. I invite people to ask questions, not necessarily to find the answers, more to open up possibilities and space for something different.
So as you've gone through life, have these alternative therapies, is it something you've always been interested in, or?
I Yeah, I think I've had quite a journey with it throughout my whole life. You know, um, my first career was actually as a nurse.
Oh, really?
And that's when I first encountered kind of alternative therapies.
Mm.
Um, but there were a lot of things that I noticed in, you know, general life that didn't really work for me. So I've always been looking for ways that work for me. You know,
Mm.
different things work for different people because we all come from a
Yeah.
very unique space. Every single one of us comes from a very unique space. So really it is about finding out what works for each of us. And these tools help me. I've noticed they've improved my relationships, they've improved my capacity within me to move forward and get out of the trauma and the drama of everything.
Mm.
Yeah, and have fun.
Well, that's
Find
good.
joy. You
Well,
know, my
sounds
kind of, you know, my kind of mission in life is to, you know, in just to invite everybody into the joy of life. It's like, come and have fun. Have
yeah. Do you know
fun.
what, though? I went to this was before we all went into lockdown. I was in a networking thing. Someone actually asked a question, when was the last time you had fun and laughed like
Mm.
a child and was silly? And hardly, well, I don't think anyone actually raised their hands because
Wow.
we forget.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, with the kind of life that we've been invited into now is all about getting stuff done, getting from A to B, getting through. It's not about stopping, being, you know, just receiving from nature, from each other. It's all about just getting by, getting through, getting done. And it's all about doing, and it's not about being. And this is really my whole invitation is about being, and, you know, finding joy for you,
Yeah, because it must
moving
sort of also,
beyond your conditioning, moving beyond, you know, all the stuff that's been piled on us when, you know, when we're growing up. We're like sponges, aren't we? We soak up other people's
yeah,
judgments and, you know, beliefs, and just because someone believes it doesn't mean it's true. So it's really is trying, it's about finding out what's true for you, and
yeah,
not all the other stuff, all the other noise.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes, because I've been single for a while, and sometimes actually that is good for you to have some time to yourself to actually find out who you are and what you like. And
Yeah.
because you're right, other people influence us so much, don't they? And they put their views on us.
Hmm.
And I think the only time I'm, like I say, is with my family. You know, we'll all meet down the beach, and that's the time when we are silly, we mess around and have fun. And I think that's probably why I'm missing them all so much,
Hmm.
because it's that time to have a giggle, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's one of the beauties of Biodanza, because it really is about learning how to be you in relation to other people.
Mm.
Because, and especially, you know, as females, as women, you know, our upbringing has been, fortunately, happily, it's less so now, but you know, previously it's been about, you know, giving yourself to the man. So basically you give yourself up. We're not taught how to stay true to us and true to our, you know, what's true for us within a relationship or even within a friendship. We're taught to, you know, please people.
Yes, we are.
And we're not taught to please ourselves. So
No.
really it's about, you know, finding that communion between pleasing yourself
Yeah.
and also relating with another.
Yeah.
So it's not about, you know, just demanding this is what I want. It's about finding that communion between the two and finding that place between the two that is nurturing for both.
Yeah. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you. Do you want to say when your classes are, your things online? Do you want to, can anyone join in, or do you sign up, or?
If you go onto my Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
which is Vibrant Living Movement with Pavani,
Mm-hmm.
I will be posting some sessions up there in the next few days. And yes, basically anyone is welcome. Anyone is welcome to join in. So if you go on there, if you find the invitation, the event, absolutely. Oh, you'll be very welcome. And you know, anyone who would like a group session, just, you know, also message me through the page and let's do it. I'd love to.
I think we all need it at the moment, definitely. So anyway, it's been lovely chatting to you. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.